For more on the story, we cross live now to our colleague Patricia Visagie in Pretoria. A very good morning to you. Has the march started?
Well, good morning. Certainly, the ACDP and their members are gathered here at Church Square in Pretoria, and this is how they're going to obviously commemorate the 2022 Human Rights Day. They are standing together in solidarity here, where they will be taking a stand against the compulsory or mandatory vaccines for children, and they're saying that this is not just about children. You would know that the party has been very vocal that everyone's rights should be respected when it comes to the issue of vaccines, and no one should be forced. And to unpack more of the details around this march and why the party feels so strongly, I'm now joined by Dalton Adams. He is the ACDP provincial leader. Thank you so much for joining us. Just take us through some of the finer details why you have embarked on this action and what you're hoping through it.
Basically, the ACDP with Save the Children has decided that today, it being Human Rights Day, is the most apt and the most correct day for us to voice our opinion and our views and our standpoint with regards to the vaccinations. We're talking about mandatory vaccinations. The ACDP has continually, as you said, stood for a choice. And we said that everybody has a choice, and the fact that there is the vaccines that must become mandatory is causing major problems in terms of uncertainty to lives of our people. And we are seeing now, even in companies, it's becoming mandatory, where even people who are losing their jobs because if they don't have a vaccination certificate, they must have a PCR test being done every single week, which is 500 rand. And then the issue, secondly, is the issue of children. I think by 15th of April, they are saying that it will also be mandatory for children to get vaccinated. And we can see that coming, and that is a major challenge for us.
But so far in the country, whether it is for adults or for children, vaccines are not mandatory. The issue of democracy and choice, that has been practiced. Of course, government has been vocal, saying that if push comes to shove and the COVID-19 infection rate is not really under control, there might be steps taken to make vaccines mandatory. But we're not there yet. We just have heard the talks. We're not there yet. So why is the ACDP still pursuing this agenda then?
Because exactly what you're saying is we are going towards that. That's exactly what you're saying. That's exactly what we are saying, is that's where we're going to. They are talking about when it comes to churches. Let me speak about this. This is a very crucial point for us because we are pastors and we have many members in our churches. And we are saying, they are saying 50% per church of the capacity. And everybody in that church must be vaccinated. Having said that, they are saying the regulation will be that everybody that's not vaccinated will not be able to go into a church. Similarly to a sports stadium, similarly to a theater, to every other area. So that in itself is magnifying and saying it's mandatory. Whether you want to say it or don't say it, it is subtly coming out that it will be mandatory come the next few days and the next few weeks.
On an important day like this, of course, we are commemorating, we are marking a Human Rights Day. How does the ACDP view the fact that today we're supposed to celebrate our democracy, Bill of Rights, and each person who lives within the borders of South Africa's human rights? And now you have this issue that you're saying that might be forced onto people. How do you navigate around that debate?
Well, to fuse what happened in Sharpeville, to fuse what happened in 1976 and 1980 with the bus boycott and the retail boycotts, to fuse what happened, how we changed from an apartheid state to a democracy state. We are now saying we are feeling that we are becoming the victims in our own country, and the human rights that we stand for is being violated. And that's the reason why we feel that as in the same way we celebrate the 69 people that died in Sharpeville, is the same way we are saying the many people that are actually being affected and infected. And many people are finding it difficult because many people are actually getting sick, many people are dying, and these stats are not actually coming out clearly. So we are saying for the human rights, it is the best day to actually stand out and say we are fighting for the human rights of our own people in this democracy in our new South Africa.
We've heard scientists and experts coming out very confidently and boldly talking about how vaccines are perhaps the best protection against the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, if they who have the expertise, if that's the message that they are advising us with, how then do you fight against this?
You see, let me debunk it by this, and I'm not going to get up against a scientist because I'm not a scientist. But if you're telling me that during the COVID-19 lockdown, different levels, there must be social distance 1.5 meters, then you come back and you say now it's only 1 meter. What happened to the 0.5 meters? Why? That scientifically hasn't actually been explained to us. When you are saying to us that scientifically you are saying that we have to wear masks, and the mask must only be at a certain place when you're outside, but when you go inside a restaurant, people are sitting on top of each other, you don't need a mask.
So there's been a lot of contradictions.
So that's the issue. The challenge is the conflating things that are coming through, and the clarity is not there for us. And we are saying even the scientists not coming out clear to tell us exactly what must be done. Now the ACDP, and I believe also Save the Children, we're not standing up against government, nor the UIM, who is actually joining us today. We're not saying we're not law-abiding citizens, but we are saying that the message that is coming through is not clear. And I have said from the beginning, when we had our first march, that the awareness has not been done, the education has not been done. Our people are grasping at straws. We don't know what is going on. Now you come and you say you want to vaccinate our children. Then nobody's even coming to tell us exactly how it will happen, how will it be rolled out. So this is the reason why human rights for us, today we are raising our voices.
All right, thank you so much. We'll leave it at there for now. Of course, we continue with this story. A little bit later, we will be bringing you an interview with Save the Children just to hear what their stance is and how exactly they are linking on to the whole debate around the proposed mandatory vaccines that we might see if that does come to pass. But just to give you a little bit of a wide shot of what's happening here, you can see that there's a big placard there at the back, of course, there where there is a message regarding what is happening here today, and of course proclaiming the rights of children as we still as a country navigate through the whole sensitivity around COVID-19 vaccines. The lawns of the church square here packed with members from the ACDP as they gear up to take on their march through the streets of Pretoria to the union buildings. We'll be following them, and we will bring you updates as this unfolds here in the heart of the capital city. For now, we toss it back to studio.
Patricia, thank you so much, and of course we'll